welcome back. I hope you're gonna enjoy this video. I'm so happy you're here. So in this video, we'll be doing a yes, no, or maybe with these books that I have next to me and also some books that I don't have next to me. As I said, I hope you enjoy. Let's get straight into it. I hope you're ready for some unpopular opinions because I have some ready for you. The first series that I want to talk about is the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco. This series is getting a little bit more hype now. The time that I read it, it didn't get that much hype at all, and I really love this series. So first one is Stalking Jack the Ripper. Second one is Hunting Prince Dracula. I think this was my favorite in the series. Then we have Escaping from Houdini, which is my least favorite. And then Capturing the Devil. These are basically like kind of murder mystery slash thriller, and they are kind of gory, so watch out for that if you're not into that stuff. They were just such a fun time. I think I rated this one 4 stars, this one 4 stars, this one a 3-star, and this one a 3.5. So they aren't the highest rated for me. But I did really love them. I love the feeling that they gave me. Have yet to read anything like this in my reading time. Actually kind of curious if there is something out there that is something like this, because I need more of that. So if you have any recommendations, please tell me about it. But this is basically about Audrey and Thomas. No, it's not about Thomas. Let me rewind. So it's about Audrey, and Audrey wants to be this like forensic kind of, I don't know what it's called. So she basically wants to dissect bodies that are dead. So she is doing that with her uncle who allows her to do that, but it's the year 1888. So it's the year 1888, and it's really frowned upon for women to do that. It's not allowed. And there she meets Thomas Cresswell as well. He's a really cute guy, and he's so sarcastic. He's the love interest in the series. It's a slow burn, so if you love slow burn, this is definitely the series for you. But it focuses a lot on the mystery aspect and a lot on the thrillery aspect, and also like dissecting the body. So it is again kind of gory, but I just really love this series, and I have very fond memories of reading these. So it's definitely a yes if I didn't mention that already. Now we have some Ali Hazelwood. So obviously Ali Hazelwood is my girl, so obviously I'm gonna say yes to all of her books. Not in Love, I gave a 4.25. Love on the Brain, I think I gave like a 3.5, so that was the lowest rated. Then Love Theoretically, I don't have it right now, but I'll put a picture up on the screen. Love Theoretically, I think I gave a 4-star, but I think it's more like a 4.5 because that was such a good book. And then Checkmate was also 4.5, and then Bride was a 4-star. So I really enjoyed all of her books. I also read the whole Loath to Love You series, those kind of novellas. Love those as well. I think I gave all of them 4 stars. So these are all about women and guys in STEM. So sciencey stuff, and it's just really cool, and I really love that. So those were all my Ali Hazelwood books. I think I talked for a while now about Ali Hazelwood, but I'm just very fond of this author, and I will read anything that she comes out with, honestly. Okay, now we have a no and a yes. Throne of Glass series. So the Throne of Glass series, this is a very popular series. It's by Sarah J. Maas. I have read up until I think like book 5. I really loved book 1. I think I gave it like a 4.5, maybe a 4. I read it in a 24-hour readathon that I never posted. So that is definitely a yes. And then the second book was a maybe, and then the rest of the series, no. I'm sorry. I had to DNF the series because I just couldn't get through it. I was reading it, nothing landed in my brain, nothing came through, and I was like, why the fuck am I reading this when I'm not enjoying it? Like reading, you do reading for enjoyment, or you do something to feel something. And the only thing I was feeling was boredom. I was bored out of my mind. I know a lot of people that love this series, so I am not one to fault you for liking the series. If you like the series, that's great for you. That's amazing. I think Sarah J. Maas is just not my author because I've read all of her series. I've read the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I enjoyed the first book, and then the second book went downhill for me. I read the Crescent City series, read the first book. Second book also went downhill for me. First book in the Throne of Glass series is a yes because I really loved that. I think the introduction to these characters was really good. I like to see them. I loved Selena, but then the rest of the series is sadly no. Again, an unpopular opinion because of the fact that this is a very popular series and a lot of people love this series. It's the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. So the first book in the series, I've read all of them. So the first book in the series is a maybe for me. It's a maybe. Like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I read the Caraval series before this, but here is where I want to brag. I read it, I think a month after it released, when it didn't have a lot of ratings yet, when it wasn't popular at all. So before all of those booktok girlies, booktube girlies started reading it, I had already read it for a year because I was obsessed with Caraval series. I read that whole series, loved it, completely fell in love with it. And then I decided to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I honestly wasn't planning on continuing the series, but then I heard absolutely amazing things about The Ballad of Never After, and that's where we get into it now. So I read The Ballad of Never After, absolutely fell in love with it, so I gave it a 4.25 star. I was so surprised because the first book, I think I gave like 3.25, maybe 3 even. I felt like it was too chill. I wanted some more action. I just got a little bit bored throughout the book, but then the second book got a whole entire story. It switched up so badly, and I was so invested in it. And then the third book, I didn't plan on talking about it in this video. I thought it was fine. It's like a yes for me, but it was not as good as the second book, but it was not as bad as the first book to me. Honestly, would really recommend Stephanie Garber's writing style. I love her. I love the Caraval series. Has she written any other series? I don't think so, but I love the Caraval series. I know a lot of people don't, but I personally really loved it. It has been like 3-4 years since I read it, so I don't know what to think of it now, but I just think it's a really good start to get into reading as well. So, When the Moon Hatched by Sara A. Parker. So, I think I rated this as 3.75 because, oh my god, you can't even see the letters. I read this, I think like 2-3 months ago. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. So for the first 70 pages, I actually made a reading blog reading this. I read the first 70 pages and I was so close to DNFing it. I was like, oh my god, I cannot do this. This is not good to me. It's a lot of world building. I don't understand any of it. I'm getting annoyed. I feel dumb right now. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna read like up until page 100. If I don't enjoy it at page 100, I'm gonna DNF it because then I've given it a fair shot. It ended up being a good book, but I don't know if I would really recommend this book. But I just thought it was a little bit too complicated, and I feel like we kind of strayed from one point to the other, and that transition from that one point to the other point didn't make sense to me. It felt like a lot of filler happened. I felt like the setup for this book also was so confusing, and it just didn't make sense to me. And then after the setup, I was like, okay, we're following a completely different story now. What was the reason for that kind of setup? So I gave it a 3.75. Still feel kind of conflicted about my thoughts on this. So it's a maybe. Oh my god, I just realized how many no's and how many maybes I have. I have a yes. The Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. So this series is a very popular series, and I have the same opinion as a lot of people also have. It's a yes for me. These are just short, quick reads about a serial killer and an FBI agent who are in a relationship. She knows he's an FBI agent that's working on her case. He doesn't know that she's the serial killer. I feel like the plot was so well balanced, like kind of mystery that builds up throughout every book. And every book kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger, not too much, but enough for you to be like, oh my god, I need to read the next book right now. First book, I gave 4 stars. Then the second book, that was one of my favorites. I gave it a 4.5. Then the third book, I thought was fine as well. Also gave it 4 stars. Fourth book, also 4 stars. And the final book, the 5th book, I absolutely adored, and I gave it a 4.5 as well. So my favorites in the series are 2 and 5. I just really like the series. It's also a little bit gory. Like, you see a little bit of the details of that Lana, our main character, is killing these people that have wronged her. And honestly, it's a good reason. I would have done the same. Maybe I shouldn't say that kind of stuff because that is concerning. But I understand where she's coming from. I understand why she's doing what she does. And I love the conclusion to the story. I feel like it was wrapped up very quickly at the end, but it was still good. And then the last few scenes in the series, oh my god, I still remember them so vividly. They were so interesting. I was surprised. I was like, oh my god, this is not the way that it's gonna happen. This is not the way that's gonna happen. And I was just so invested in the story. So good. Fourth Wing. So this is a very unpopular opinion because for me it's a no. I didn't really enjoy this book. I gave it a 3.75 because I succumbed to the hype. Realistically, if we're looking at it realistically, I probably should have rated it 3 stars because I was bored. I didn't really like the writing style. I think that was the problem for me personally. I didn't love the writing style. So if you like the kind of writing style, I think that is a great book for you. I think that's great for you. But for me, I just didn't love it as much as I thought I would. This one was a really, really big disappointment. And I haven't read Iron Flame. I never will read Iron Flame because I have no interest in doing so. Like, I just didn't like this book, and I am so disappointed that I'm saying that, because I know a lot of people that absolutely love this book. There's a little romance going on as well. There's like dragons, there's an academy setting, which is a setup for something that I would love, but I didn't end up loving it. We have the Devil's Night series. So I haven't read the 4th one and the last one yet. I can grab it for you because it's chunky. Look at that. It's more than 700 pages. I think it's about 750 pages. I am not ready to commit to that kind of thing. But these books, I think I rated them all below 4 stars, honestly. So this is a maybe for me again. Again, a maybe. So we have Corrupt, which, surprise of all surprises, my favorite book in the series as of right now. Then Hideaway and Kill Switch. And Kill Switch, I think, is my least... I think it may be my least favorite of the series, and to most people this is their favorite of the series. And if someone is about to say it's just because you probably don't like dark romance, I do like dark romance. I've read the Cat and Mouse Duet, I've read all of H.G. Carlton, not all of, I've read a lot of H.G. Carlton, I've read a lot of dark romance. I've read Rena Kent. I can match with Rena Kent. I like dark romance. That is what I'm trying to say. But this series, I don't know what it is. Divine Excel was good. I just didn't love these characters. It just felt a little bit flat for me. I read this in my reading dark romance for a week, I think. I felt like these characters, had a good setup. I was like, okay, if they become lovers, if this character Damon, the main character in this book, if he has like a redemption arc, if he changes in a natural way, I'm gonna enjoy this. But I didn't feel like it was natural. I didn't see it. All of these characters are a little bit twisted. They're not like the best people out there. But then this character, I was like, ooh, I don't like him. In the first 2 books, I didn't like him. In this book, I did like him a little bit more because I got to see things from his point of view. The thing is, he literally hated our female main character, Winter, throughout this book. He despised that girl. Out of nowhere, they fucked. And I was like, wait a second. Wait a damn minute. Why are you fucking when before that you haven't even expressed the fact that you wanted to actually do that? And then the character arc, like the redemption arc of him, came so suddenly. And I was like, nothing really happened in this case where I would think, okay, yeah, that is why he changed. He just flipped a switch one night, flipped a switch out of nowhere, and I just got confused, honestly. That's how I felt. If you enjoyed this book, completely fine. I enjoyed it as well, but I didn't as I thought I would, but it's just a little bit confusing to me. But overall, this series is a maybe series. I still have hope for Nightfall because I did like Will's character the best out of all of these characters, I think. So yeah, I'll just have to wait and see, you know. The reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. This has to be a no from me. And the thing is, if this book had been by a different author that I hadn't read from before, if this book hadn't been from the author of the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, I think I would have given it a maybe. But it's a no. It's a no. This book, I cannot tell you much. And I don't want to tell you much because I honestly, one, don't remember. And then secondly, I don't want to spoil anything for you. The plot twist in this, that felt like a good twist to the story. I like that twist. But then how that twist progressed into other things, I don't want to say too much. I didn't like that. That felt unrealistic. And of course, it's fiction. It's gonna be unrealistic. It's not real. But to the point where I was like, I cannot even believe that this is happening in fiction. It follows a level of fiction, and then the plot twist happened, and then the things that progress followed a whole different level, a higher level of fiction, and I just couldn't see it in this story. I'm gonna leave it at that. The last book that I want to talk about is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. We're gonna end on a positive note because this is definitely a yes. I really enjoyed this book. And that is also an unpopular opinion because a lot of people don't enjoy this book. A lot of people don't love this book, and I honestly don't see it. I don't see why people would not love this book. I can understand why you would rate this 3 stars maybe, but why 1 star? Because the chemistry, I thought it was there. I've heard a lot of people say that the chemistry wasn't there. I thought it was a good kind of chemistry. The characters were cute together. They made a good couple. I thought that. And then the mystery. If you go into this book thinking it's a mystery, don't go into it. Like a romance with a little bit of mystery. I wouldn't even call it like a subplot because it isn't that much of a plot in this book, but it didn't take away any of my enjoyment. So this is following Jeannie, and she Jeannie gets this pumpkin spice cafe from her aunt, and her aunt kind of goes on this vacation. She lives in this apartment above the pumpkin spice cafe, and then the mystery comes in where she hears scratching at the door. She hears howling, and she's like, what the fuck is this? So she kind of asks this small town grump farmer dude to help her with that, and that is where the romance comes in. That is Logan. He helps her fix that little problem, and then you think the mystery is over, but it's not actually over, but I won't tell you much about that. That's basically what the story is about. It just felt very cozy, very fall-coded. It was the perfect atmosphere for the time that I was reading it. It was dark, gloomy outside, and I just loved that feeling that I got when I read this book. And I also read the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, which was also a very, very solid read, and I am so excited to read The Christmas Tree Farm, which is the third book in the series, and also the Strawberry Patch Pancake House. Is that what it's called? I don't know. But I'm really excited to continue the series. That was the video. Those were all of the books that I wanted to talk about right now. If you want more of these kind of videos, more of these recommendation videos, more of these videos where I talk about books that I don't really like, let me know down below. I hope you enjoyed. All my links are down in my description, my Amazon wishlist, my Goodreads, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!